work on that. Meeting is being recorded. Okay.
Start sharing my screen.
We are recording.
All right. So I'll bring up my screen here. Okay. For the team, you should be able to see the first slide. Can you confirm that you can see that?
Looks good.
Okay, great. Well, welcome everybody to the Lola Shephard Intersection Improvements Virtual Open House. My name is Darren Hippensteel. I'm project manager with Kittleson and Associates. I just want to thank you for joining us today, and we'll move through the presentation. So our format today, we're going to try to maximize our time together to go through the presentation, and then the meeting is being recorded and will be posted on the MDT project website following the meeting. We're requesting that attendees type in your name into the meeting chat. So this is the icon at the bottom of the screen that has the question mark on it. That will allow all questions and notes to be seen by all of the panelists. That'll help us keep track of who's attending the presentation. And then at the conclusion of the presentation, we'll use that chat box to go through a question and answer period for the presentation. You can enter your questions at any time through the presentation, but we'll go through the questions at the end. So just again, introducing myself, I'm Darren Hippensteel. I'm the consultant project manager, so the design team that's working with the Department of Transportation on this project. Ben, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you, Darren. I'm Ben Shandell. I'm the MDT project manager located here in the Helena office. And then we'll just take this time to introduce a few other MDT staff. So Jim Combs, you want to introduce yourself?
Good afternoon. My name is Jim Combs. I am the MDT Great Falls District pre-construction engineer, and we assist with project development where we can. And our Great Falls District will also be performing the construction contract administration when this project is advertised and awarded for construction. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Gabe Preeb, do you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. I'm Gabe Preeb. I'm the Traffic and Safety Bureau Chief. Traffic and Safety houses the HSIP program, which is the Highway Safety Improvement Program. This project is a highway safety improvement project. It was originally nominated to address fatal and serious injury crashes. Back to you, Dan.
Okay. Thank you, Gabe. And then we'll, Claire, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, thanks, Ben. Claire Doherty supporting Darren with Kittleson on the design element of the project.
Okay.
So the next slide, Ben, is meeting overview.
Yeah, so over the course of this meeting, our goal is to go over the project goals, the project background, the project design, and then at the end, there'll be a comment and question session for you guys to ask whatever questions you have, and we'll do our best to answer them.
Great, and we'll spend a little bit of time also through the presentation to talk through what's next, overall schedule for the project. All right, so this project, the need for this project, Ben kind of alluded to this, or excuse me, Gabe alluded to this, that the need for the project is due to what the department has seen as high frequency of serious and fatal injury crashes at the intersection of Highway 12 and Lola Street. The department applied for and received the Highway Safety Improvement Program funding from the Federal Highway Administration, and really it's intended to implement a project that addresses that crash frequency at the intersection. So this project is intended really to do that. It's focused on that singular goal. So the goals are really to enhance safety for all users by addressing that specific crash history. And we want to maintain a reasonable level of access for businesses and residential areas north and south of Highway 12 and minimize impacts on mobility and congestion with the project. Oops, too far. Sorry. So what's the project area? The project study area really begins about 300 feet west of Nicole Street. So if you take a projection of Shepherd Way, there's no access there today on the highway. On the north side of Highway 12 is where Nicole Street intersects with the highway. So we go about 300 feet west of that intersection, and then the project, then the study area extends to the east past Lola Street, which is where the specific issue is occurring, sort of to encompass the entire area around the highway, several unnamed accesses from the frontage road to the highway as well. So this includes, like I said, the north frontage road, which is Centennial Drive on the map. That's north of Highway 12, or sometimes called Prospect Avenue. And then the frontage road on the south being having sort of dual names depending on where you are on the frontage road of North Street and Tricia Street. So looking at kind of project history and timeline, mentioned that, because of this observed crash history within the project area, the department received the HSIP funding for this project. And it is specifically intended to address and mitigate those safety issues. This project received that funding back in 2018 is when the initial planning and concept design work started for the project. Our team, working with NDT, brainstormed and investigated different alternatives of projects that could be implemented along this corridor to address the specific issues that were happening. The preferred concept is what you see in the presentation materials, was selected in March of 2019, and it includes a new traffic signal, some access changes from the frontage road to the highway, and installation of a roundabout at Lola Street on the frontage road to improve and facilitate access for residences and businesses along the frontage road due to the access changes to the highway. Where are we at in the project timeline? So right now we've had our last outreach meeting was a year ago at about the 60% design milestone. Where we are right now is, I'd say, between 90 and 100% design milestones. So we're getting close to the end of the project. We've been advancing design, providing more detail in the plans for the ultimate construction. And we're set to provide those final plans and be ready for bidding late spring of next year. In parallel with that process, there was some needed property for the project. We had some minor impacts at a couple of the intersections. And so we're working with the property owners to secure that property for the project. In addition to that, utilities are impacted at certain locations along the within the project limits. And so we're working with the utility companies and agencies to make adjustments or relocations as needed. Once all of that is finished, then we'll put the project out for advertisement for contractors to bid on. A contractor will be selected, and then construction is anticipated to begin in spring of 2026. So let's look at some of the specific improvements for the project. The design elements on this project include a new traffic signal at US 12 on Nicole Street. And I'll use a laser pointer here to kind of point in those areas. The traffic signal installation will include separating the south frontage road at Shepherd Way. So traffic to the east of Shepherd Way will access the new traffic signal on the highway, and traffic from Shepherd Road and west will access at either the existing signal at 18th Street, like is happening today, or the unnamed access, which is just west of Shepherd Way, which will not be impacted by this project. And for this map, it's just off to the screen, but I'll show another map or later that shows that location. Other improvements include a realignment of the south frontage road. I mentioned that. So this disconnection will be made on the frontage road here, and the frontage, this east side of the frontage road will be connected into the new traffic signal. The realignment will also facilitate some new improvements with curb and gutter and corridor lighting along the frontage road for lighting that facility. In addition, there will be a new single lane roundabout at the frontage road or North Street intersection with Lola Way to facilitate some of that access that's getting cut off when we remove the access here. And then like I mentioned, 3 different accesses along the frontage road will be closed as part of these improvements, and that will help minimize and basically put movements onto and from the highway at the traffic signal versus these unnamed accesses. So next slide here. One of the questions that we have received over the course of the project is just with relation to pedestrian and bicycle access along the corridor. And so this slide is intended to show sort of what the existing condition is out in the corridor today. It's not the direct purpose of the project, but it's good to note that we are making some improvements to bicycle and pedestrian facilities with the work. As it stands right now, there's a traffic signal at 18th Street and another at Crossroads, which are about 1.5 miles apart for that marked crossing of the highway for pedestrians. With our project, the improvements at the intersection and the new traffic signal, we are roughly right in the middle of Crossroads and 18th, and this new intersection improvement at Shepherd will include marked crossings of Nicole Street for the shared use path on the north side of Highway 12 to continue through, as well as marked crossings of the highway itself to allow pedestrians and bicyclists to cross the highway in that fashion. Although we are not constructing new sidewalk along the frontage road, in our previous presentations, we've indicated the reasoning for that. In part, HSIP funding or the Safety Improvement Program funding cannot be used for features outside of the intended purpose, which is to mitigate the crash history at the intersection. So we can't build sidewalks to connect that are outside of the specific improvement at the intersection. But we're also not precluding that from future projects, in the future. So whether it's a private development or some other agency improvement in the future. And this is specifically just along the frontage road between Shepherd Way and Lola Street. So that is the bulk of the material to be presented as far as the improvements. So I'll leave this screen up, but if you have questions about the improvements or the process, please go ahead and type those into the Q&A button at the bottom of the screen. It's the one with the question mark. And as those come in, I don't see that any have come in yet. And Claire will correct me if I'm wrong. And so we will answer those as they come in. And we'll give some time for the typing as well. So maybe while we're waiting for that, I said earlier in the presentation that I would show the sort of larger map. I'll bring that over onto my screen now as well. So again, here is the intersection with Shepherd Way and the highway. The unnamed access that will remain open and is unaffected by the project is this one just to the west. So it's about 500 feet or so west of Shepherd Way. And that access will be maintained and is not affected by this project.
And Darren, it looks like we do have a comment in the webinar chat.
Great. Let me see here. Yeah, there we go. I can read it. All right. So I see Angela, you're here on behalf of your grandmother at 3165 Highway 12 and concerned about the viable option for commercial traffic to exit and enter. Let me do this real quick. I'm going to pull up where that's located on the map here. So 3165. So it looks like I see just to the, I guess, east of the Nissan dealership, looks like the location there. Yep. Yeah, I see that, Gabe. Thank you. So yeah, so we had our in-person open house last week on Wednesday evening, and we did hear from participants at that meeting that access for heavy vehicles, not just residential like light pickups and passenger cars, but also larger trucks and commercial vehicles was a concern. Whether it's going past the access and coming up Shepherd Way and being able to turn around, being able to have some kind of option to stay connected with and be able to go east on the frontage road, and then also what access and turning would look like at the access here to the highway or back at 18th Street. And so we heard those concerns. We are looking at some additional options that may be able to address those concerns, facilitate those movements. We don't have anything new to share on that today. We did look at, and I mentioned this last week in our open houses, we did look at pretty large vehicles being able to make movements from the frontage road onto Shepherd Way with the improvements that we're proposing. But we'll continue to investigate, and we will be getting back to folks with those concerns. And I'll just also say, Gabe, Ben, Jim, if you have anything to add, feel free to jump in and contribute. And you're welcome, Angela. Any other questions for you, Angela?
So just a note to Angela, we do have the contact information of people in that area, and like Darren said, we're going to look into that. We have some meetings scheduled next week, and we have their contact information, and we will reach back out to them with what we find out. So
I guess I have this is Gabe. I have a question, Angela, if you're willing to put a little note in the chat regarding, to your knowledge, how that existing access or that existing property you're referring to at 3165 is currently accessed by commercial traffic. Yeah, hopefully that question made sense. So just we're just trying to gather information.
Yeah, so it looks like she typed in Gabe from the east on the frontage road.
Thank you.
Well, and Ben, up to you. If Angela, if you have no more questions, we can, I think, end the
Would you
call
share our-
short. But yeah, Ben.
Would you share our contact information?
Oh yeah.
The for more information page. So
Yep.
I mean,
Absolutely.
this was an open forum for us to answer questions in person, but there is a way to submit comments if you're not attending this meeting and watching it on video. This video will be posted on the project website, I believe, and any comments can be submitted after this meeting on the project website or at the project comments link that are shown on the screen now.
Yeah, and our contact information is also on the project website. If you missed the slide earlier, both ways you'll be able to reach us. right. Well, Ben, do you want to end the presentation there? This will get loaded up, and then if folks have follow-on questions, they'll reach out to us.
Yep, nope, I think that's great. I just wanted to thank everybody who's provided feedback, and we look forward to working with you guys.
All right. Well, with that, we'll end the presentation. And yeah, I also appreciate the participation and look forward to any future connections on the project. Thank you.
Okay, I'll go ahead and stop the recording.
Thanks, Claire.